If you clicked on this video, I'm sure you already know about the recent lawsuit against Katie Joy by 7M Films. Apparently, there are some new parties that will be joining in with 7M Films on that lawsuit. We're going to get into all the legal jargon in a different video. In this video, I want to go over the drama that has circulated this lawsuit, which honestly is just crazy to me because the lawsuit hasn't even really begun yet. But that has not stopped Katie from being on one, and she has held no punches back when it comes to going after other creators. In the past 2 years, Katie Joy has found herself in a lot of legal trouble, and of course, commentators cover that because that's our job. As I've said 1,000 times, you would think Katie Joy would understand this, but she has a serious issue if people mention her name. One thing about Katie Joy is she does hold on to grudges, and she does seem to have a lot of animosity towards other creators here on the platform. And with this new filing from 7M Films, there have been other creators covering the lawsuit. One in particular is Emily D. Baker, and Katie Joy has not liked her for a really long time. Emily is a YouTube attorney who breaks down trending pop culture lawsuits, and Katie Joy's lawsuits are no exception. One of Emily D. Baker's first ever lawsuit coverings that really broke through was the Tati Westbrook lawsuit, and she did receive a lot of attention from that. There were so many of us following that lawsuit and really wanting to understand the legal jargon, and Emily did an incredible job making that lawsuit make sense to us little people, the average people who aren't attorneys. From the very beginning, Katie Joy had a massive problem with there being someone out here breaking it down to the public what was really going on. Some could say it's because Katie Joy could not manipulate her audience with the truth actually being out there. But no matter what the situation is, Katie Joy did not like Emily from the very beginning. Not only has Katie said some very slanderous and disrespectful things publicly about Emily D. Baker, but this has also been a very consistent move Katie makes for almost 2 years now. Emily has always been incredibly professional with her covering on Katie Joy, no matter what Katie wants to say. And so the animosity that she has specifically for Emily just does not make any sense to me. But with that being said, last week she made yet another post trying to make it out like Emily was this horrible person. And of course, on top of that, she went out of her way to call other creators out as well. And usually these creators remain very professional and do not give her the time of day. But since Katie wants to put out very serious claims against these creators, they have the right to respond, and they definitely have.
Now I want to talk about without a pot to piss in, without proper legal representation, without a leg to stand on. You guys know the old same song and dance, without a crystal ball is running her fucking mouth. And somehow my name always gets brought up because I had talked to Tati way back in the day. To be honest, I've never really followed the Without a Crystal Ball saga except for the stuff that was going on with Tati. But most recently, you guys, she put on, I think Twitter or maybe Instagram, I don't know, but she named myself as well as Nick, Creepshow Art, and maybe a few other people, and she said that we had contact with this person I believe named Natalie. Bitch, the only person that I know named Natalie is Natalie Nunn. I don't talk to Natalie Nunn, and I do not talk to anybody else named Natalie. You are one of the most foolish people on the internet, Katie. You really truly are. I don't know how many lawsuits that you could be in that could jeopardize your livelihood, your kid's livelihood, your husband's livelihood, and you just still continue to go. You're one of those people that just do not know when to shut your mouth. For her to sit there and put my name in something that she says affected her in any way with this person that like allegedly like doxed her and did all this shit to her, there could not be anything farther from the truth. I feel like she does this every once in a while and puts my name out there with Nick, and she tries to get a reaction, and you know what, this time you got it. Katie, I don't like you. I don't even know that you exist until my name is mentioned by you. You're in your own world. You do not exist to me, and I promise you that the vast majority of people that watch your videos, you don't exist to them either. They're just trying to catch up on the newest fuckery that you're doing. Emily D. Baker. Emily is an attorney. You seem to be very upset that she has something that you don't. I don't even know if you're a journalist, but you're very upset there's an actual attorney giving legal commentary on the shit that you're doing. You're not an attorney. I have seen you make so many different assumptions and say so many different things about different things that have happened in the past with your lawsuits and stuff, and anyone that has any kind of brains at all knows that you ain't shit. You don't know anything. And to be honest, I don't even know how you've made it this far without having your channel taken down for the shit that you do. And, you know, honestly, I really hope that Todd Chrisley takes your ass to the cleaners because it's what you deserve. You harass people nonstop, and then if the person that you're harassing doesn't submit and agree to what you're saying, they're automatically a bad guy or they're part of a cult, they're part of the problem. No. maybe you need to turn that mirror on yourself and look at it. You need to look in the mirror, Katie. You are the problem. Anything that's going on in your life right now that is a problem, it is your fault.
It's come to my attention that without a crystal ball, Katie Joy Paulson, I believe is her name, also the person that's getting sued by Todd Chrisley and many others. I've never actually seen someone on YouTube get this many fucking lawsuits, but I think that she's kind of addicted to it. She likes the attention. Well, she's trying to name myself, Emily Baker, Creepshow, Truth Sleuth, Dustin Daly, and Keemstar, and she says that we're all believed to have been in contact with someone named Natalie when she was getting sued. Bitch, who the fuck is Natalie? So this Gumby looking bitch right here that is being accused of always wearing adult diapers so she never has to get off the internet because people saw your closet, bitch. Katie, I think you're giving me a little bit too much credit. I actually don't have to go and try to get in contact with anyone in anyone's life. If you watch any of my content, you know I'm always getting called out for not going to the source, not doing that. I don't give a fuck, Katie. You make yourself look bad enough online, and it's easy enough to find information on you just from fucking Twitter. What you should really be worried about, Katie, is the fact that you are a grown-ass adult over 35 who is wearing a shirt that has your name with a definition underneath it. You're clearly lacking something essential, and you should figure.
Alright, let me clear something up since KJ is twisting a very false narrative about me. I did cover the culprit's declaration during that suit. Many did. Many also believed she, meaning KJ, was involved in all the trolling, doxing, and hacking attempts that were taking place. I was one of them, and I said as much in a few videos, but never directly accused her or stated this as fact. Time passed and new details surfaced proving she was not involved, so I not only retracted the videos, I put up a statement about it on my community tab, tweeted about it, and discussed it in a video. My guess is that KJ is big mad about the Emily D. Baker being celebrated and featured in a Business Insider article while she was dragged in another article via another publisher. Emily just went through the complaint. I didn't hear any opinions or disparaging remarks from her towards KJ, so I don't get why she has to hate Emily so much. Also, I don't know why she has to perpetrate the false narrative that the culprit convinced us all that KJ did those things. She wasn't in my DMs like that. I hate to break it to you, KJ, but that's not reality. The reality is, I saw what I saw online, and in the declaration, saw how it was impacting people and some parallels people were drawing, possibly tying KJ to being involved, so I covered what was out there and gave my opinions on it. Opinions change as info comes out. The second I found out the culprit was involved, I took my videos down defending her and did what I could to make things right. This is just another post from her playing victim and acting like she is right and everyone else is wrong. That's all I have to say since I got mentioned in one of her posts. I mean, shouldn't she be worrying about the 2 to 3 lawsuits she is presently in? I hope she gets added to the Guinness Book of World Records because no other YouTuber alive has gotten sued this many times in such a short period. Yikes.
I just gotta say, at this point, you guys, it is starting to feel like deja vu. I was first introduced to Katie Joy at the very beginning of the defamation lawsuit with Tati Westbrook. What really caught my eye about Katie was the fact that she was on multiple different public platforms dragging Dustin Daly and Nick Snyder for doing what every single YouTube commentator out here on the platform does, sharing their opinions about the lawsuit in a video. Apparently, this was just too much for her and she started to threaten legal action against them, on top of making many different comments about how they should not even have channels. Since then, she has made it her mission to drag anyone who even mentions her name. And she went that extra mile publicly, all because they made a video sharing their opinions. Throughout the last couple of years, there are many things I've learned about Katie Joy and her behavior here on the internet. And let me just tell you guys, the double standards are real. Katie Joy is supposed to be able to use her voice and say whatever she wants without any repercussion. But let one of us other YouTubers out here share how we feel about something, and if it's not to her standard, she's gonna hold your feet to the fire for the rest of forever. And I have to admit, when I seen that these specific creators were actually responding to her disparaging comments about them, I was really glad because she's been doing this towards these same creators for over 2 years. During this time, the majority of them have not responded. They have remained extremely professional and decided not to go back and forth with her because she seems to feed off of this negativity. Everyone has a breaking point though, and there does come a time where after so many months of dealing with the disparaging comments, you have the right to tell your own side of the story and explain from your own perspective. When it comes to her seemingly odd hatred for Emily D. Baker, like I said before, I really think that comes from a place of the simple fact that if there's someone like Emily out here really breaking down the legal issues and matters going on, that makes it 10 times harder for Katie Joy to manipulate her audience in believing that she is innocent in all of this. In my personal opinion, Katie Joy spends a great deal of time trying to deflect and project any type of responsibility for her own actions. There's a thing called cause and effect for a reason, and that is exactly why Katie Joy continues to find herself in so many defamation lawsuits. You cannot be out here putting disparaging comments out on others, whether that's how you feel or that's your opinion or whatever, and not expect to have some sort of effect to it. But even after months upon months of Katie Joy going after Emily and putting out false allegations on her, Emily still responded back with not only class, but also humor.
You are somebody that I don't know, but you're taking shots at me like it's Patron, and I'm just like, damn, it's 7 a.m. Say it in the street, that's a knockout, but you say it in a tweet, that's a cop-out, and I'm just like, hey, are you okay?
Okay, you guys get the point. I cannot play the whole thing due to copyright reasons, but if you want to see this TikTok or any of the other videos from these creators, they will all be linked in the description down below. I highly recommend you guys go and check them out and show these YouTubers some love and support, because Katie Joy is out here doing way too much. Y'all, please let me know what you think about this whole situation in the comments down below. Do you believe that these creators have every right to share their side of the story since Katie Joy's out here telling hers? Or do you think that by doing this, they're stooping down to the same level as Katie Joy? Also, if you want to stay in the loop with these recent lawsuits against Without a Crystal Ball, please consider hitting the like button, subscribing before you go, and tapping the bell for post notifications. That way you are notified every single time I go live with these updates. I appreciate every single one of you to the moon and stars. And until the next one, bye guys.